All right, come to stand. We're going to go feet wider than our hips. And we're just going to start with a subtle knee bend. And as our legs straighten, so will our arms. Take your chest up to the sky. And then as we lower down, let your whole spine and head lower with you, knees bend. And as the legs shoot us up, arms reach up, chest lifts. And as we come down, knees bend, head bows, bounce, spine rounds. And up we come, lifting, lifting, lifting. And down we go. One more. Knees bend, spine rounds, chin nods. And then up we come. Chest lifts, eyes lift. And then bringing everything back to center. Let's start with just a simple weight shift. So I'm just going to pick one foot off the floor and then just shifting my weight. So we're just really looking to wake up the feet, right? And let each one of them have their own experience on the floor. Now we're going to keep this rocking. What I want you to do is just essentially turn to your right and we're going to rock this way. So now I get to go more heel ball toe, toe ball heel. And I'm going to just focus on that front foot. Although the back one is doing the same pattern, just focus on the front one and really try to articulate and imagine yourself getting right up on the ball of that foot. Right, starting to stimulate the calf. This is for Renee. Renee's rehabbing after that broken foot. Imagine if you didn't use your ankle that whole time, right? It's pretty hard to lift your heel off the floor. Those muscles have gotten very quiet. So all we're going to do is just turn the other way, and we'll go this way. So again, although both feet are doing it, focus on the front one. And you're just looking for all the feels. Do I feel my heel touch? Can I imagine rolling through the center of my foot and landing right up between my first and second toe? And start to notice how the back foot is hitting the ground as well now. So just be mindful, it's doing a job too. Last two. And last one. And we'll just find a wide base and face one another. So let's take one arm up, let the other arm slide down, and today open your chest and take your eyes to your hand. And then we come up. My knees are soft here. Other arm goes up. I'm going to turn my chest and my hand towards it. Oh, is anybody already feeling how twisting feels different in the morning than the evening? And then up you come. Other arm lifts, looking right at the hand. And back up. And one more time, the other side. And then back up. Again, knees are soft. I'm just going to take one ear toward my shoulder. And that same side hand I'm going to bring around. And I'm just giving a subtle pull down. Just really trying to add the weight of my hand to just create a little bit more of a stretch here to this side. Letting this arm feel heavy. And then just turn it so your chin goes in your underarm. And then add that little assist. Now stretch out those tension muscles. And then just lightly release the hand and then bring up the head. Other ear to the other shoulder and just a slight assist. Remember, this arm is going to just stay loose, heavy, whatever kind of visual, whatever kind of word you need to get so that this arm isn't coming up there. And then turn that chin into your underarm. And again, we have the little assist. Gentle. Then let's let go with the hand. So there's no extra pressure. And then bringing the head up. Good. So we're going to go in a circle now. Chin to chest. Oh, does that feel good? Chin to shoulder. Chin up to the sky and to the other shoulder. And then down to the chest. Remember, keep your eyes open if you feel dizzy. Go the other way. Oh, if only there was a microphone on what we could all hear in our necks, right? And then keep your chin down into your chest. Now, what I want you to imagine is while your chin is sitting into your chest and you've just made as many chins as possible, you're going to imagine that from the base of the spine, from the base of the skull, where the spine would kind of come to the back of your skull, that someone could lift you from there. So although my chin is tucked, I'm getting taller and taller through my spine. And I'm going to keep lifting as if someone has grabbed me right at the base of my skull and is just lifting me from there. So we're just stretching those postural muscles. Those things tend to get so short, everybody. Keep lifting from that spot in the skull. Let the arms be light. And then keeping the height, just bring your chin as if it's just sitting on the horizon. I hope that felt good. That is worthy of practicing. Let me give you the lowdown, right? If I'm here, reading, driving, but the world's taking place out there, here I am. So even if I work on this part of my posture, I'm still here. And we worked on that a lot, right? Like where our visual lines are. So what we were doing was trying to stretch the muscles here. That also contribute to that postural stuff. It can't just be shoulders and back because it's where the head sits upon that spine. So just kind of think about that if you've done one of those activities I just described, because we all do them, and maybe think about how you can sort of reset those back neck muscles and let them elongate, okay? All right, so here we go. Legs are going extra wide now. Perfect. I'm gonna bring this down just a second. I'd rather you see my feet than my face in this predicament. All right, so going extra wide, and I'm just reaching long, letting my feet feel like they extend way beyond my toes. Like my toes could just have energy light shining off of them to the side walls. And then go ahead and take those arms up, same thing, reach them out. And then we're gonna lower that elongated spine down. Good. Now right away, you should start to feel some warmth occurring. Shoulders, thighs, glutes for some of us, and then come all the way up. Good, take it down again. So lowering, awesome, and lifting. Lowering, and lifting. As you keep going, I want you to think how much width can you take up in the room? How wide can you extend, bringing that energy through those fingers, bringing the energy out the toes, and just letting that spine just enjoy a ride down and up. Right, your spine just works like the pole of a carousel horse here. So down and up we go. Strangely, lots of warmth will begin to occur. Last two. Staying low here, we're going to take a heel up and down, and then up and down. Remember, this could always be a thought versus the action. Maybe your heel just feels lighter and it doesn't leave the floor. Let's go both, up, down, up, down. Keep reaching through those fingers. Get that energy pouring out. 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs. We're going opposite hand to opposite ankle. Reach that other arm back behind you with strong fingers. And then up we come. Opposite hand, opposite ankle. Reach that other arm up. Reach it towards the sky. And then coming up, you should start to feel the stretch in your hamstrings, the back of your legs. Over we go. Now take your tailbone to the sky, just like that backhand. Take it up there, take it up there. And up we come. Woo! I get more. Other side. Tailbone and backhand to the sky. Reach it up there. And then coming back to center. Lower the arms. How many of you started feeling shoulders in that? It's a maybe. I bet you it's about 50-50. Okay, so wide legs, and then go ahead and find that sort of seated position, if you would. Now, I want you to just let yourself kind of rock forward and back, and I want you to just feel what turns on to sort of save you from face planting. You're gonna feel a presence here. You may have to kind of quiet your head here and not think, okay, where are we going? Just go for the sensation. If I head forward and I don't grip through my toes, I can literally get all of these trunk muscles just like shaking. Because the other option is I'm gonna lean forward and my toes are just gonna grip like mad to try to save me. So I'm gonna keep my toes light, and I'm just gonna subtly shift my weight forward, feeling what wakes up, and then shifting my weight back to center. And then shift it forward. Now stay there. So you feel this on, you're gonna stay slightly ahead, arms back out, toes are light, stay slightly forward. And now from here, little pulses. So I almost think of my pulse kind of shooting me up and forward. So it's a little different than being that carousel horse, right? Now I have like this angle forward. Ooh, low abs are waking up. This is not going to be a burn like a abdominal curl, folks, right? It's just that deep presence, like your trunk is awake here. 4, 3, 2, and 1, stay low. Now, keep your legs as they are. Now, can you go opposite hand to the opposite ankle and lift that tail to the sky? My knees will stay bent. Come back to the middle. Opposite side. And then back to the middle. One more the other way. And then back to the middle. Woo, last one. And then back to the center. Everything comes up. Nice job. Bring those arms down. Walk those feet in. Give your legs a little shake. My guess is that they needed that. All right, so you can stay facing forward. Arms are going to go in front. Now we're going to imagine the stool behind us. That imaginary stool that we're going to sit in. Now I've lifted my toes actually right off the floor because I'm really trying to be mindful that I'm not using them. I want to really find the foot and not just the toes. So my rear end is back in that stool, and now I'm going to lower, like I'm going to tap the stool, and then lift my buns to try to like get away from it. And then lower, lift. So make this different than I'm using my thighs to get myself up. Imagine all you can use is your butt. Anatomically not possible, right? But we're just putting our focus there. Like I touch the stool and it's like hot lava, right? I'm like, eek! I want to get my buns off there real quick. Little touch, lift, touch, lift, touch, lift. Of course, we're going to still feel our thighs. Lift, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten your legs, pitch yourself forward. Let that head dangle. Look to your right. Look to your left. And back to center. And we'll take the spine all the way back up. And shoulders roll back. Whew. Is everybody warmed up? Okay, I'm like totally.
So sometimes when we're using, right, the glide and the floor,
let's get down.
you're going to find that you're going to just move your mat or yourself to sort of accommodate getting on the gliding surface. And then always remember that all props are just optional, right? So if you do it without the prop, that's fine as well. So our warm up for this was something we visited on Saturday at Pilates Around the Porch. So we're going to come to seated. And from our seated position, we're going to start doing little mini roll downs or hinge if needed. Majority of you in here today, rolling, great, right? Those of you know who you need to be careful with the hinge. Arms out. And we're going to start taking ourselves back. So I'm welcome to hinge. My spine can support that. So tucking under for me, right? So scooping in there. And And now I'm gonna just let one arm open out and I'm just gonna lightly touch the floor, but I'm trying to get as far away from my other hand as possible. And then I come back. Other arm opens. Find that floor, reach as far away from possible. And then back to center. One more to the other side. These will heat you up quick, won't they? And then back to center. And then other side. Oh, I'm shaking. And then back to center. And then coming back up. So you see in those, you can make it as much or as little as you want. Now we're going to put the glide underneath our left hand. Right arm is out in front of us. So my fingers are just hitting it lightly at this moment. But as I start to head backward, right, my hand's going to find more and more contact with the glide. And I'm going to let that glide out. I want to keep both of my butt cheeks on the mat. Now, you're just going to glide it in a little and glide it out. Glide it in and out. My chest stays forward. I'm pretending that a really kind friend is pulling my right hand to help me up. So the beauty of doing this on the glide is that you have to stay really light to let it move. 3, lots of hands. 2, last one, glide out. Now we're going to take our left leg to tabletop. Stay right there. As I come up, my leg shoots forward. As I go down, my leg comes up. It just made it harder, right? There's just more things rolling back with us. So if that's too hard, just don't use the leg. Oh, mercy. 3, 2, and 1. Reach back, stay there, lower that leg if it's up, and now you're just gonna roll right onto your left side. Woo! That glide makes this more difficult. And then just roll back onto both buns and come all the way up. I want to be able to see you, so I'm personally going to turn around. I realize for some of you, when you rolled over, you had to roll away from me, but it truly was just a roll. That's it. Hand is light, left arm's in front. All right, here we go. Gliding back and up. If you did the other side first, that's not a problem. Just do your other side. All right, so I'm going to tell you what's happening for me on this side right away. I can feel a lot in my legs. And what I recognized is I was kind of just going through that motion. And what I need to get my head back into the game as far as my hand is light on the glide. Oh, right there, abs. As soon as I put a lot of weight into the glide, my body responds differently. So think light. Oh yeah, now we're just shaking again. And light. All right, we're gonna add that tabletop in. When I glide back, I'm gonna bring my right leg to tabletop. I come up, I go back. And up, and back. Woo! 3 more. Oh, trying to be so light on that glide. I think this is the last. Leg down, stay back there. And now I'm just gonna roll onto my side. Hand is still on the glide. And then back onto both buns. And up we come. Yeah, you felt that? Well, you all look kind of like you're comatose from it, so I'm gonna go with yes. All right, knees together. And we're just gonna go side to side. So it's gonna alleviate some of that upper quad hip flexor tension. Just let them work. And notice you can kind of turn, right? Sending your hips to one side of the room or the other. I just know I'm gonna hear about those later. And what I'm gonna hear is, I absolutely hate those. I hate doing that with the glide. It's good for us. All right, here we go. Legs are gonna go out in front. So the setup is similar. Now notice what I did is I set myself up perpendicular to my mat. So I have all this gliding space behind me, okay? So the glide is going to start, let me turn up my hands right, in the left side. So it's just behind my mat. Fingertips are on it, arm is in front. So this setup's gonna look exactly the same as how we started. So you're gonna glide back. I'm trying to keep my left hand light. Good. So I'm just gonna roll onto that hip, and I'm gonna go down a little lower with my glide, and then pick my glide back up, and roll back on my buns, and come all the way up. So I'm gonna glide back, roll onto my side, glide down, getting my armpit closer to the floor, but I have to be able to pull the glide back up, roll onto my buns, and sit up. One more here. Glide back. There's where we were before. Roll. Now lower down. Remember, you have to be able to get up. Feel at the waist. Then roll onto both of your buns, and up we come. Good. Let's switch to the other side. This was nice because I could see all of you when I stay at this angle. You don't have to face me, of course. All right, right hand has it. It's light. I'm going to glide back. Good. Rolling to the side. Lower down. Oh, baby, I got to get up. Woo, use the side waist. And then roll onto both hips. And up we come. Sweating, sweating, sweating. Glide back. Roll. Glide long. And use the waist, get back up. And roll onto both buns and come tall. We're gonna do one more here. Glide back. Sideline. Lower down. Glide back up. And rolling all the way to the top. Nice job. Okay, so I am going to ask that you put your glide at the top of your mat, and then you're going to assume your sideline position. It doesn't matter to me what side you're on. I will be mindful of what I'm cueing. Now, when I got all the way onto my side, I put my hand on my glide. And what I'm looking for is probably, I would say, 8 to 10 inches of space between my glide and my mat, because it's going to come toward us. All right, so this hand can be a lovely kickstand for now. Hips are stacked, and we're just going to take the top leg up and down. So this is kind of just that, first check to be like, how am I aligned? I can tell you right now, my ears are forward in front of my ribs because of the angle I'm at. I'm looking at you guys. I need to really be like here. So I just need to take my eyes to you and not my whole head. Keep that leg lifted. Now imagine someone's pulling that big toe of that top leg. So that kind friend again is holding your leg up there for you. Pushing into your glide. You're going to lift your head off of your arm. So that's kind of ready position. And then keep pressing and pull the glide to you. Glide it away. Do not put your head down. Come back up. Glide away. And come back up. The head is going to stay hovering. So we're really trying to work those neck muscles here. So I don't want your head to rest at the bottom. I keep it off of my arm and back up I go. If this side feels like it could cooperate with taking your kickstand away, you could. If you feel like balance won't support that on this side, then keep your kickstand up. Now lift a little, back to the leg lift. Kickstand could be down or up. Keep pushing down into your glide. 4, 3, 2, 1. Place your kickstand down, everyone. Push into it and just bring your elbow underneath you. The glide stayed over there. Great. Upper arm is gone. We're going to take it off the floor. No one needs it. This is a good kickstand right here. Elevating that top leg. We're going to go to very small circles. So we're talking like teacup size. Keep it really tiny because we are really trying to isolate the outer glutes. I think some of you are feeling it because I can start to see your body language. Your head is starting to lower down. A couple grimaces happening. Go the other way around. Ooh, baby. It should be like, yes, right here. 3, 2, 1. Put the leg down. Bend your knees. You're going to press right into your outer knee, the bottom knee and that bottom elbow, and lift those hips up. And take them down and lift them up. and take them down. So shorter lever, right? We're on our knees. One more. I really love this as a transition, actually. And lower down, straight legs, top foot is in front. You can always go back to bend. And up we go, straight legs. And down. It's an option. Stay with bent if you know it's a better fit. We're doing 2 more. And last one. And down we come. Roll over onto your stomachs. You'll be on your forearms. I'm going to press my hands together. And I'm going to bend one leg and straighten, bend the other and straighten. We're just giving our quads a quick, nice lengthener here. Last 2. And last one. Awesome. Hands will open. I'm still on my elbows. I'm going to lift my chest and reach my collarbones forward, like I'm trying to pull myself on the mat, and then lowering all the way down. Lift that forehead, and then press to lift yourself up. You keep your arms out in front of you as far as you need to. Trying to make the biggest bend in my back up in the shoulder blade area. And then lowering down. One more. Press to rise. Reaching that chest up and forward. And coming down. Now take your hands off of the floor. Maybe widen them out, right? I've taken them into like my cactus arm position. So I'm going to hover my arms off of the floor, and I'm going to lift them higher and lower. So it's fine if you lightly come in contact with the floor, but we're just getting those shoulder blades to start being drawn together, waking up that musculature. And then keep the shoulder blades drawn together. Now lift your forehead up. And then lift the legs up. And then everything comes down and up. And down. And up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And down. And up. 2 more. And up. Last one. And stay up there, shoulder blades squeezing, shoulder blades squeezing. Now gently place your hands down. I'm still only using my muscles to keep me here. And then press into the arms to help you rise. And then down we go. Stay in a hover, lift your hands off of the mat. Reach them out wide. Draw your shoulder blades together. Bend those elbows, place your hands down, and press yourself up. Lift that chest. Glide your way down. Stay in the hover. Lift those arms. Reach wide. And bend. And place the hands down, pressing up. Remember to take your arms as far in front of you as you need to. One more time, lower down, maintain the hover. Float those cactus arms, widen them out, back to cactus. Place them down and pressing up. Lift that chest up. And then we'll lower all the way down. Let's press back into a resting pose a moment. Give a little stretch. Oh, if you don't always do this, try this out. With your hands on your mat, my arms are long, I'm pushing into my mat like the strength of my arms are shoving my tail to my heels. I want you to try that if you haven't, the push away. Because it feels so different than just assuming the position. Right, it just makes it a bit more of a dynamic child's pose, but oh, the stretch you get through the back is just awesome. So take your left arm, dive underneath for thread the needle, but with your right arm, keep pushing away. So you're still trying to straighten out, And you're reaching that arm underneath. Big breaths into your back. And then take the other arm underneath. Ooh, push into that mat. Pressing your hips to your heels. Awesome. Coming all the way up. All right, so we're going to swap the glide to the other side. So again, you just want to make sure that your glide is about 8 to 10 inches past your mat so that you have some flexibility to pull it toward you. Okay. Whew, this feels nice for a minute, right? So that kickstand can be down. Kind of check in with that alignment. Make sure you didn't just fall into your mat like, oh, good, we get to just rest here. I'm going to pick up my trunk muscles again and just start lifting your top leg up and down. This is just always our assessment. One of the things you probably wouldn't notice unless it was really severe for you, but how our hand sits on the glide right now, you're going to notice when you're really tight in your shoulders or chest, you'll notice your hand is not willing to lay as flat on the glide. You'll kind of notice your hand, what we call tenting. It's fingertips, but not your palm. I wish I would have pointed that out to you on the other side so you could have kind of felt the difference from shoulder to shoulder. Next time. Go ahead, keep that leg lifted, keep reaching it. Now we're going to put pressure into the glide and then float up and down. This can be very little, everyone, okay? Also, the glide could be a little further in front of you if you needed it to. Keeping that top leg lifted, remember. Now, if you feel like you can pull it off with balance, eliminate your kickstand. Chest stays open. Last 3. 2. Shake it. Last 1. And then lower down. Good, keep your kickstand. Woo! Flames. All right, take that leg up. Mini circles. Remember, we're just again going for teacup size. It's so small that it makes it more uncomfortable because we are just isolating right here so well. It's for our balance though. Keep it up. Go the other way. Smile. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down. Yeah. Reach through both toes. So reach both legs far and away from you. Let's pull that glide up. Good. Take that top arm up. Good. Define that little challenge there at the top. Beautiful. Set that hand down. Push into it. I'm sticking to my glide and get that elbow underneath you. If you're on a plate like me, I could have taken it with me. All right. No problems. Let's take that arm up and we're going to bend our knees. Here we go. Lifts and lowers. Right, so here we are, kind of step 1 of side plank. Try to really find it in the waist here, okay? This isn't supposed to be 100% shoulder. You want to think, how do I cinch my waist to lift myself up? Cinch at the waist. Straighten your legs if you so desire. Top leg falls in front of the bottom. And from here, we could lift and lower. It's an option. Stay with your knees if you prefer. It's all about the waist again. Last 2. Last 1. Up we go. And then dropping that hip down. Great. Why doesn't everybody come to a seated position? And we're just going to take one arm across. Give that shoulder a little stretch here. And then the other way. And then we'll release. Now this setup is quite perfect for where we're going. Sorry, I hair sticking out of my sweaty face. So when I go into this position here, supine, notice I'm going to keep the glide under my left foot. So I really have my tush up towards the edge of my mat, and then I kind of have all this gliding freedom past that. Okay, so everybody, and adjust, right? If you need to get up, get up. And Renee, you could do this without gliding. So hands behind your head. Exhale, mini sit-up is up first. And I'm really talking to my abs, right? I'm saying, you're on board. I'm gonna let my head kind of chill out in my hands here. And we're just gonna start with a simple glide out and in. Now my goal, although this looks really easy, my goal is to stay using my abs to elevate my chest and letting my leg move in and out while this bone is just moving in the socket and coming back, but it's not distorting my sit-up in any way, right? So everything looks completely the same. I'm just gliding that leg out and in. 2 more. Last one, glide it out. Stay with a straight but active leg. So I'm not hyperextending my knee. I'm going to open my leg out and in. Same thing. I want to keep my sit-up looking the same. I'm going to let my leg open wherever it can without making me roll in any way. And also be mindful that your right knee does not then go out to the side to try to compensate. Last one. And then that leg lower out of the curl. Switch sides. I'm guessing all of you probably feel pretty fine doing that, right? Because we're not putting a lot of weight into the feet, right? We're keeping it really light. So hamstrings also shouldn't get real upset here. All right, floating the upper body. Okay, there's the shaky sit-up. Out and in with the right leg. I'm looking to stabilize, right? It's dynamic though. We don't assume a position and then just go, okay, we're a statue. No. We're very actively working beneath our skin. Everything is just boom, 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 right? Constantly working so that it gives the illusion that we are just this statuesque figure here in our trunk, but we are working for it constantly. One more, keep the leg straight. Let the leg swing out to the side and in. Do not let that bent knee slide out to help. Try to stay in your flow. 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Draw the leg in. Lower out of the sit-up. Switch back to the left side. All right, here we go. You're going to float up into your sit-up. And now I'm going to pivot just slightly over to my left side. Now keep in mind, I'm just thinking up and over towards my ceiling. I'm not rotating all the way towards all of you. That's going to actually not work me as effectively. So I'm going up and over towards the top of that wall. And now I'm going to let this leg glide out and in again. So that left leg is moving. I've rotated in that direction. Good, so working for it. Let it look like it's easy. You can hear my voice, what my muscles are doing. One more. And then coming to center. Switch sides with the glide. Floating up. Slight rotation to the right. Out and in. Now notice how different this is than if I just told you to do your leg in tabletop out and in. Your legs would come on board a lot heavier because it's holding your leg up. This, we can work on keeping the leg light to glide, therefore it shoves it into the abs a little differently. Now, yes, you could be proficient at both, but, right, this one definitely helps people find their abs a little easier. Last 2. Last one.
and then coming out of the curl. Woo! Get that glide back to the left foot. All right, hands are gonna come down by our hips. It is preferred that you keep your chest open, so maybe palms to the ceiling or more of your karate chop. And from here, you're gonna take your hips. I am just shaking so much. I'm gonna take the hips up to the ceiling and then just place them back down. Now again, this is in that family of rolling the spine, of course, so you can do that if that works for you, or you can just hinge and go straight up. So rounding the back. Now I'm gonna glide out and in, out and in. Same thing, that I'm trying to keep my pelvis steady. I don't want to tip my pelvis to all of you. I'm trying to use my right side butt cheek to keep me stable. Again, trying to make this look easy. Woo! Last two. Keep the legs straight. Now all I'm going to do is turn the hips so I can lightly tap my left bun to the floor, and then I want to pick them back up to center. Lightly tap, pick back up. And I want the work to be 80% in your right glute and right inner thigh. Lower, lift. Lower, lift. Two more, lower, lift. Last one, lift, bend that leg, and lower the spine down. Switch to the other side. My entire upper body is like, all right, so hips are going up. We gotta get the other side in. Hips going up before we fall apart from fatigue. All right, leg out and in. So my whole left side is like, oh mercy, this is on me here. Oh, right side is being playful. Left side is trying to hold up the fort. Last two. Last one. Keep that leg straight. Can you lower the right bun down? Pick it up. Lower. Pick it up. Lower. Pick it up. Lower. Pick it up. Final one. Lower. Pick it up. Pull that glide in. And set the spine down. Oh, it's so good. Just let your legs shake. You kind of flap them like butterfly wings. It's just a lot of work, right, to make all that happen. So the glide's going to be set aside. Both hands will come behind your head. We're going to renew the float. So find that. And then one leg to tabletop, and then the other. Now, imagine that your heels are sitting on two glides. So the goal here is to keep the legs light, like we did on the glides. And then can you glide it out and glide it in? Holy shaking. Glide it out, glide it in. So I'm literally trying to recreate from my mind just that light heel gliding out and in, so that my legs feel soft still to some degree. My abs rock hard. Last two. If it's suitable for you, could you go doubles? Think glide out. This could also be a tap down, right? So if the glide all the way out is not a great fit, tap to the mat, but keep it light. Two more. Last one, out it goes. 3, 2, 1, and lower all the way down. Reach those arms and legs out. Oh, give your trunk a nice stretch. So I would like all of you to move to a spot where, I don't think you're gonna have to go far, I can kind of see where everyone's at, where you can either just put one foot up on a chair, on a couch, against a wall is really my favorite. If there's a wall space that's like just within
a few feet of where we're at. So I want you to be able to put your foot up against something. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. Now you're going to catch a glimpse here. That's my reformer sits right there. So what you're going to do is end up coming down, and I want you to see the lower half. We'll put a foot on something or on the wall, okay? And then we're going to go crisscross applesauce. So I'm basically doing my figure 4, but now I get to have this foot on something. So my upper body, let me see if I can pick something up. Yeah. So my upper body gets to be at rest. So I have personally, I have my left ankle on my right knee, my right foot is kind of pushing into the reformer. That could be a wall or a couch. You just keep your head down, and I'm getting a very nice stretch into my left hip. So this is just an assisted figure 4. It's phenomenal because you don't have to sit there and tighten your whole upper body to get the stretch. Now, if you need more of a stretch, the way you get it is by wiggling your butt closer to the wall, like if you're on the wall, right, or closer to the object. So the closer you are, the more intense the stretch is going to be. Now, be mindful that the knee that's bent and crisscrossed, so for me it's my left, try not to just like roll to that side. Try to feel where your pelvis is on the floor and let your pelvis feel even. And that makes a big difference, because even let yourself roll to that side, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's not quite it. And then roll to center. And then everybody flex that foot of the one that crisscrosses. Oh yeah. And you can always get closer, right, if you need to. You know, a lot of times, right, we grab this leg, and then what happens? It's neck, upper back, or upper chest, arms, right, are very tense holding this stretch. So let's just switch to the other side. Other foot goes on the wall. Oh, baby, that side's even tighter. And really, you just gotta breathe. And then can you please notice again, like how your low back to pelvis is sitting on the floor. Now, granted, we lifted, right, this side up. You're not gonna feel your butt cheek quite the same, but you wanna be really mindful about where am I potentially rocking to, and even let yourself rock side to side a little. And then where you feel, there it is. When you feel that resistance, you're like, oh, that's my spot. And then imagine your tailbone reaching to the floor. Oh, yeah. Awesome. So go ahead and release that side. Go back to your first side. Now, if my right foot is the one on the wall or the chair, I want you to rock a bit more to your right. So really rock into that side. And again, find the spot where you feel the most resistance and pause. And then think of reaching your tailbone down to the floor. It maybe gives you that small sensation that your low back is arching just a little, but the thing is, it will only be just a little. No one's going to be able to go overboard here. Relax that ankle. And now you might be able to rock just a little further as it's loosening up. And then go ahead and release. Crisscross other way. And then give yourself the rock. So I have my right leg crossed, so I'm going to keep rocking a little further to my left. And when I feel, there it is, yep, that resistance really show up here, I'm going to pause. And then I'm going to think of sinking my tailbone down like it's attached to an anchor. Makes a lot of difference. When you're tight, you're going to want to scoop your butt right up. Flex the ankle. Keep dipping that tailbone down. I'd like you to know my upper body is still just laying here like it has an electric charge to it. Keep reaching that tailbone down. And then just uncross the leg. And you can just scooch yourself right back onto your mat. And come to sit for just a minute with your legs out in front of you. And for a lot of you that tend to be really tight in those areas, you might be like, oh, that feels kind of cool. Like I can actually get up here a little differently. So as you're seated on your sits bones, like, you know, I'm a pretty good sized butt. Like you kind of have to shift and get your butt cheeks out of your way sometimes just to get onto the bones underneath you. So we're gonna flex the feet and taking your arms up. Imagine your arms are just sitting on a shelf and you're gonna just slide your arms forward on the shelf and then slide them back. So you're like just reaching into a really deep bookcase and then sliding back. Good, and reaching and come back. Notice what starts to happen with the feet. Can you stay flexed? They're gonna wanna do all kinds of weird things. And back. So one more, reach into that bookshelf. But now what you're feeling is, oh my goodness, it's a little higher than I thought and a little deeper. So I actually have to get taller through my trunk to get into that back little corner of that shelf. And then come all the way back and lower the arms. Very good. Take your right leg and you're just gonna reach it behind you. Now you can take your arms really far back. You can take them to the side like this, so it's more gentle. Flexing the ankle is really nice if you have a finicky knee. So there's lots of choices here. Let's see how that thigh has now turned in. So we're gonna get a good stretch through here. So we're just going through really good all around hip openers. So we're gonna just stay, and I'm thinking of reaching my right knee out there in the room. I never wanna feel like I'm just here as a clump, right? I'm always imagining this energy line goes that way. This energy line goes that way. My heart light shines forward, right? I feel so much bigger in this room than what my physical body represents. And then I'm going to, however I need to, get that leg back to center and down. I'm going to take this foot out, dropping that knee. Remember, being out here is gentler than with hands behind. And both sides probably don't feel the same. I can't remember now if it was last week's first or second class of the week, but woo! One of them the next day, like if muscles that were sore lit up, you would just see red stripes right between each of my ribs because I was sore. And I think I asked a couple friends and they didn't have the same soreness. So I always think it's interesting how we all have our little spots that show up. So keep reaching through those energy lines, get really long, open that chest a bit more. And then how you need to safely walk that foot back. Legs will be in front of us. Point the toes, both arms are behind. And we're gonna open the chest, letting the head drop back. Push through the hands firmly, like your goal is to get your heart up to the sky. And then bringing your head back forward. Bend your knees, placing your feet on the mat. And then just lift your hind end off the floor and set it down. Lift it up, set it down. So just feeling how your upper body with an open chest has to support the weight of you. Little up and down. Work hard to keep your chest open. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of space between this shoulder and this shoulder. You don't want to collapse that space. So now my energy is shooting out the sides of my shoulders. How wide can I be in this space? 2 more. Last one. Fantastic. Legs go straight. Legs go to the side and make your way right down onto your back. If you need to take a second, and either rock, pull your knees into your chest, right? Whatever you need to kind of soften your body into the idea of releasing. So sometimes you need to take a more dynamic approach to kind of settle some things down before you can come into that resting. So legs are going to extend out, arms are going to head out to the sides, palms open to the sky. And just start being intentional about that in through the nose breath and out through the mouth. And start recognizing for a minute where your head is hitting the mat, or rather where the mat is hitting your head. I want you to kind of nod and move that chin around until you feel like you have found center. And we visited that in the beginning of the class, and we talked about how often our chin or our nose is cocked up to the sky because those neck muscles are shortened. So right here, I know that I need to bring myself a little bit more in a position where I would, for instance, like create a double chin. That's the feel. Because if I was trying to make my neck on the front as long as possible, it requires me to shorten the back. I'm not interested in that. I want to lengthen my postural muscles of the neck and let my chin softly sit. So try to find that happy medium. And then feel the shoulder blades on the mat. Can you bring your arms across your chest, give yourself a little hug? Oh, you did it, right? Give yourself a pat on the back. And then as you open your arms, feel how your shoulder blades come to rest on the mat. And then feel for a minute how your bum sits on the mat. Do you feel like you have more weight in one cheek than the other? Give yourself a little rock. I just use my heels and kind of rock myself back and forth. And again, wanting to feel like I'm settling in the center. And then I'm just going to give my legs a soft shake. Feeling that this takes work, right? It's very minimal, but it takes work. And now I'm going to assume a position that takes no work. On your next inhale, fill your belly as full of air as possible. Try to suck every little last bit of air into every little crevice you can find, and then exhale out the mouth. Inhale to fill the belly. Then can you also fill your backside of the lungs? Could you find more space in the back where you can just suck a little more air into? And then exhale out the mouth. Just continuing to breathe. Feeling those spots of connection to the earth below you. But there's more than meets the eye, right? This is not just my physical body touches my mat and boom. No, the energy of your body, right? You could imagine goes right through the mat, right through the surface of your home or your deck, right? Right through the grass, right through the dirt. Like how deep can you see the energy of your body getting anchored down to the core of the earth? And could you imagine that anchor or that energy pull to that core coming from your heels? So your heels have that energy drawing them down deep into the earth. And then from our low back, our buns, our pelvis, it draws us down. And then from our shoulder blades, it draws us down. Through the back of the hands, it draws us down.
And from the back of the head, it draws us down. Just continue to breathe as it feels most relaxing to you. And feel that sense of all those connection points. And that sense of pulling you down. It allows you to feel grounded, to feel settled, to feel safe. Now I want to take you one step further in this challenge of this idea. For me, I see it in my mind's eye, like each of those spots has again just that piercing light that shines from my heels straight down. You know, and from all the places we talked about of connection, and maybe you've added more, but where they all come together, like the strings of that light, all come to one spot. Could you come to a word there? And just sit with it for a minute. Doesn't mean that it's just going to instantly come to you, and maybe it does. But if you could just imagine all of those points of anchoring you to the core of the earth. So now breathe in through the nose, feel the fresh air passing through the nostrils. And just exhale out the mouth, letting any sense of heaviness you still are carrying go. Feel the coolness come in through the nose. Exhale. When and only when you're ready, you can roll yourself to your side to press yourself up. I hope everybody has a blessed